Covers 456,000 acres, and it's 140 miles east of Los Angeles. This is the visitor center where I videotaped yesterday. And last night I drove down the road south, and I'm camping here at the Belly campground. There's several campgrounds all through here, as you can see. I'll spend some time down here at the Cottonwood Visitor Center and campground because there's a desert bighorn sheep down here. Let's see if I can videotape some. This is a picture of what they've got here. They've got coyote and jackrabbit naturally, and burrowing owl, bobcats, kangaroo rats, and yucca night lizards, golden eagle, roadrunner, sidewinder. That's what they've got down here. We're going to be out now. Tarantulas, yucca trees, and other types of plants. This is California fan palm. That's that big one I videotaped down at the nature center, the reception center. This is a Oka Tilly, or Tillo, and California juniper, and this is a Mojave yucca. These yucca trees grow generally above 3,000 feet. And you find them in California, Utah, Nevada, Arizona. When the Mormons were moving south toward Salt Lake City in Utah, they saw these trees, and it reminded them of Joshua raising his arms, beckoning them westward. Now, according to the pamphlet, it says that they only grow in North America. Well, they have them in Israel too. Now, whether they grew naturally in Israel or if they were brought in, I'm not sure. Well, before the miners and ranchers came in, they had 60-foot Joshua trees out here. They cut them down for firewood and fence posts. You can see my camp over here. The Park Service raises a lot of this vegetation, and then they plant it out here. It's a little thicker than it normally would be in nature. This is pretty. Chula cactus. It's almost Christmassy. Looks like frost on a window pane. Sometimes birds will build a nest down in the crotch of the bush. Well, this is one I haven't seen before. I'll have to look this up in the book. kind of a meaty cactus stem, and with the barbs coming off. Tumbleweed. That's what the jackrabbits like to eat. Eventually it dies, and the root system deteriorates. The bush stays together, it stays intact. And then if it's an open space and the wind catches it, it blows away. You've got your yucca bush, Spanish knife plant. That's what I had growing around the patio out there in Paris, out in the country. So they grow very nicely in Michigan. Of course, I think any of this stuff would grow in Michigan because the temperature does fall below, well below freezing here. You get snow occasionally. This right here would be nice to plant up there. Pretty. Make a nice border between your neighbor's place who has half a dozen kids. They wouldn't be running through this sucker. Sharp. You got your Paiute grass. Now, if they had an overabundance of jackrabbits here, that grass would be sheared right off the ground level. But I think the coyotes here keep it down. This right here could be a hole dug by a badger after kangaroo rats. They do have a lot of badger out here. Now, the biggest Joshua tree I've seen so far was growing alongside the highway, and it had a base almost 3 feet across, and it must have been at least 50 feet high or higher. Now, here's a Joshua tree that's beginning to blossom out. Normally they blossom from February till April. Some years they won't blossom. Depends on rain and how cold it is. Oh, this is January 2nd. It's still morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. My camp is over here. Real nice road coming up here. Nice blacktop. Looks brand new. Well, in my little short walk here, I put out cottontail and jackrabbit. Almost got the jackrabbit on film. That rock formation makes a pretty good shelter for my camp. Wind is coming out of the northwest. Most of the people camping up here right now are from California, naturally. A few from New Mexico. Campground is full. I drove all through here last night as it was getting dark, and the only campsite open is the one that I ended up getting. I always love this shot, Bigfoot. I wondered why my camp up here was so much colder last night. This is 3,800 feet up here. And my other camp on the other side of the Sheephole Mountains on the horizon, well, that was 2,000 feet. So, makes a big difference in your nighttime temperatures, daytime too. I can't wait till I get down to an elevation of 500 feet. Then I'll be looking at 70s, 80s, sunshine every day. Meanwhile, back in Michigan, I shouldn't do that. I just have kind of a perverse sense of humor when it comes to that nasty weather up there in Michigan. Kind of rubbing it in, I guess. Because I'm here, down here in sunshine, and you folks are up there freezing. Most of the campsites are around these rock formations. You'll have like 3 around here. You've got 3 campsites on the south side of the formation. And then you've got campsites over here. What happens, deep down there's pressure pushing up through the Earth's crust, and then it pops up these granite formations. It's almost like a push-up. The same thing is happening to these hills, only they haven't weathered down yet. But you can see part of it that's becoming exposed already. Several million years from now, this will be exposed granite, rounded push-ups, just like this over here. Well, go ahead. This is a Mojave cottontail. The rabbits don't seem to have that much fear. Of course, they aren't being hunted here either, except for the coyotes. Most of them I've seen just kind of hop away like this one does. Even the jackrabbits don't seem to burn out like they do where they're hunted. An interesting formation here. A person can crawl through. It's pretty good size. This is at next to one of the campsites. This would be a good campsite during the summer months in the shade. One thing I've noticed, and they could very easily have prevented this, your campsites aren't perfectly level, and if you're going to run your propane refrigerator, you've got to have a level campsite. Well, it would have been nothing to scoop that down slightly when they were making these sites, make them perfectly level. Of course, I don't think they were thinking of that, the propane refrigerators, when they
No, the crack right next to your feet, on the other side.
This is a group of rock climbers. They're going to climb this rock up here. It's a pretty steep face.
Oh yeah. Then I'll bring the 3, 3.5, and the 4.
You just do this. Just wrap the rope around the big block.
How's the one on the left is short.
You wouldn't have to bring anything.
I have my big sling here. I'll bring the big sling and the big sling. Somebody will back it up.
You wouldn't have to bring anything. Just wrap the rope around it.
Well, you okay now? Stop. Like hearing your voice for the first time on a tape recorder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is, you know?
That's such a cheat, because I'm writing those little tape recorders, they don't do you
They
justice.
don't.
You get yourself on a big, like a 3-inch tape, and it's makes a
Then you
big
can-
difference.
Oh, really? Just the
Yeah,
tonal quality of
Sure,
it?
the tonal quality, plus add the little reverb and this and that on there, sure.
Now, you're all Californians.
Recently.
Recently.
Native.
Where are you from originally?
Utah.
Oh,
Well, I grew up in California.
yeah, they've got some hills in Utah.
Yeah.
I've
Amazing how much colder it is here.
well, I know
Shut
it's what, 3,400 feet here. Last night was 21 degrees.
21.
21.
Yeah.
Are you sleeping in a tent?
Sleeping in a tent, but I just got back from Idaho, and
Oh.
it was 25 below.
We're
there,
in
so-
Idaho.
Up in Sun Valley. Yeah, my brother lives up there.
25
Oh.
below.
25 below,
Wow.
so this is cake. I'm used to it.
Well, it's the wind and the cold that'll get you. I've been camping. Well, I've got a travel trailer, and I've had winds 60 miles per hour at night.
60 miles an hour.
There's no sleeping.
Oh my goodness.
No. Well, if you wait 2 hours, the sun will be hitting this side.
Well, that will help, man. Yeah. I'm just going to have to suck it up.
I'll stand over here so that.
I'm going to be traversing this way.
Okay.
It's
Well,
better if I clip through the other way.
I'm just going to stand in a place where if you slip, you won't trip on the rope.
See what it goes. You climb up
Yeah.
and over and around.
So I'll move. I'll move over there after you head the other way. That way, if you slip, you won't trip on the rope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rope come out tight. The first time my wife tried leading anything, that happened to her. She fell. It was only a 5'4", and the rope came tight. She caught the rope. Wow. But got a rope burn on her leg. I think it's leading now.
Oh.
She was wearing shorts.
Oh no.
Get past that third bolt, there's a little lead out. The two bolts are close by right there, though.
Yeah, those two bolts, and then there's a third one, and then the fourth one is probably about
1, 2, 3. There's 3 there. 4, 5.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
What do you think was the crux of it?
Actually, the beginning's the crux.
That's what I thought by eyeballing it.
These are D-rings used for rock climbing.
Then it gets hard up at the top, too.
Where are you guys from?
Chatsworth?
Chatsworth,
yeah.
Stony Point area.
Yeah.
Let's see. Took my wife and kids there. Just by the road.
Oh, yeah.
The one you do with no hands.
Slant rock?
Yeah. I had her come up that thing that you do with no hands, but she came up with 2 hands and a belay.
Good for her. I got scared on that rock.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Isn't that awful?
Takes a tremendous amount of finger
I'll step. You want to step over the rope? I'll stand over here.
power and
Oh yeah.
and your feet, your tendons.
Oh yeah.
But mainly more hand and arm strength.
Uh-huh.
Strength.
The lightweight is nice. I weigh too much. I'm sitting at a desk.
I sit at a
20
desk
pounds
too.
more than when I moved here.
20 pounds more?
Yeah.
Really?
I got eating donuts and growing
That'll
up
do it for you. Too much carbo load.
fat,
Fat load.
deep fried
Oh.
donuts. Yeah,
And
they
once
say
you-
one donut.
Once you start eating that stuff, it just...
I just heard on the radio that one donut is equal to 4 slices of whole wheat bread with jam.
I'm in over here too,
Right.
Al. So I'm not chancing a grounder here.
Right. So I'm heading over this way, so that if you do go, you won't hit the rope.
Yeah. I've got pro at my chest right here. Line this up. Screw up. It's not that hard. If I don't screw up and it's so cold.
Matter of fact, when I let that when the wind was blowing in it,
And you're right, it gets a little thin up here. Yeah.
Do you have fingernail clippers by any chance?
But thankfully it's a little lower angle as well.
Proxy right there?
yeah, it gets thin right here. And punch it. Some more some place for fried on.
Does your hand feel better in the sun?
Yeah, not too much right now. It's kind of into this.
Yeah.
There's a key. There's a hole here that's greased off. I can see it. That's there.
Oh, you just slipped.
7 climbing from here out.
Yeah, and I don't get the top rope.
Pardon?
Is it down,
Oh,
Ben?
you mean I'm going to give you slack line for the whole climb? No.
That was rather invigorating. Morning warm-up. Yeah. Man, it's more than a morning warm-up. I can even feel my fingers.
Oh yeah, just tension, pressure, cold rock.
Yeah. It's kind of cold. That's a pretty easy climb from there. Last time I climbed this, I got about maybe 3 feet down from where he was, and I missed that bolt.
Boy.
Climbed all the way back down, so I wouldn't nail myself.
Did you miss one of the bolts when you did it?
Me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that last one you clipped into. So I decided, should I keep going or should I climb down?
I'd really like to get your address and get a copy. That'll say a check for it to mail, whatever it costs.
Okay,
Just, just for posterity. I've never seen it myself.
I think you'll enjoy it. This is the route I came up with my Cameron pack. You gonna rappel down?
No, I just want to get out here to the edge.
Oh, I see.
Even so, I won't be able to see until they come over the dome. Yeah, I can get out here to the edge and tie off a knot in the middle of the rope and clip it in locking pinners and hold myself up.
Oh.
Actually, what I'm going to do right now is going to save it. dodge the moves out. It's worth doing them.
Yeah. I just think this may be too hard for me. What?
Two ropes. Well, yeah, the middle of the rope is more
I got some more webbing.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, if I put a real long rope, a real long webbing, we could just barely do it.
Upper up.
Get you right there. In an extremely comfortable position, I can hold you with
Okay,
no
up
problem
rope.
whatsoever.
Upper up.
Take your time, go slow. Figure them out. There's sections of fingers, but it's really a lot of feet. You got to use your feet. Especially up there going between the fourth and fifth bolt. Okay. There's a little droplet of blood up here on the top of this rock.
Generally, you find that at the bottom of the cliff, don't you?
Well, not a crack climb, not so much, because on the top of a crack climb, people's cuticles are busted.
Oh, I see.
Bleeding. But it is strange. It is. Go for it. I'll string you up. It's worth it. We're not proving anything. Just figure them out. This is more my forte, face climb. Well, I can do cracks, 5-10 cracks too, and better face climb.
Now, do you think it's an abundance of courage or the lack of fear that
Confidence in yourself and the equipment, and that comes just by experience and climbing, and falling, and realizing the equipment's going to catch you, and then learning what it'll do and what it won't do. Never losing sight of the limitations. That's basically why I'll go up there and stand.
Did I miss something?
Hanging on the sling for one move.
Fully ate it. But it's very interesting. It looked like it. It was hard because I didn't experience it. Nice to meet you.
Oh, let's give them 3 cheers. Hip hip hurrah. Well, if I could hold the video camera and climb too, I might do it.
Would you like to try it?
You know what you could do for top roping that? Also, you could swing pendulum over and add and clip one of the bolts
Yeah,
with your rope.
That last bolt, yeah, you sure could.
You see what I mean?
No, I don't.
Well, if she belayed you up a ways, either up the easy track to the right or whatever, up a ways, you could pendulum over to the bolt and flip it.
Then we get lowered
And then
down.
you'd have one rope going down this one and one rope going down that one.
Oh,
You see what I mean?
yeah.
Put a quick draw on the top bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw the rope down and belay it from here.
That'd probably be the fastest.
Who said I can't get in the picture?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Tripod rock. All right.
Normally I use hard to say what it really would be. You know what I mean? Up on a lead, not on a ball. But, yeah, it felt like that. But,
You know what I say about that? When I first started, my fingers were burning and stinging until I got up past, like up towards between the second and third ball. Yeah. The nice trade-off is the shoe rubber holds about 10 or 12% better than it does if it's hot.
Up to film, this is the route I took. It's a kiddie climb.
A couple of thousand. Yeah, we're going to do a climb. I forget, it's on Hamdo. Maybe that's the same one. I don't really know too many of the climbs in Hamdo. We did the regular Northwest Way. We're going to go there, I guess April, as soon as the snow melts. I'm sure the snow really melts in the valley. Much more. I know there's still snow up above. That's really cool. Yeah, maybe I should get your phone number. Yeah. Climb sometime. Maybe get up somewhere. Yeah. That's with me too. Well, like my other buddy, he was supposed to come with us, and I knew it would probably be hard to find Tech. He's been climbing there for like 20 years. He's 42 years old. He doesn't even need a book. And his buddy is Chris Gonzalez, who's done a lot of first ascents, and he's in the book all over the place. And I climbed a 2 weeks ago out there. Yeah, that guy is so good. He was stuck in a 5'9" crash. Lariana? Lariana? The one that he was stuck on it? Well, you start climbing, you let it. You got how to do it. Hide one.
Generally, people say, hi, Ma.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
My mom will die if she wants to. She can watch other people rock climb, but she can't watch me.
All right.
No, dummy.
This is a hawk. I'm going to have to look up when I get back to the trailer. I don't know what it is.
It's not a red tail.
Could be. Hawk is right up in the fork here. See how close I can get. Those people I just met rock climbing over there want to buy a copy. Don't know how much to ask though. Pack rat's nest down here. Wonder if there's any 44 shells. I just talked to a group of people and they saw 6 desert bighorns. Of course, they were a little higher up. They were taking this trail right here that I'm taking. And they saw the sheep in the mountains over here. So I think tomorrow I shall break camp and head over into that area. I'd like to get some desert bighorns on video. A nice trail here. It goes around the park several miles. Right now it's 2:40. It's dark in 2 hours, so I'm not going to attempt it tonight. I wouldn't want to get caught out here after dark, especially when the temperature hits the low 20s at night. I do have food and water, though. I always carry food, water, matches in my pack. So I think I'll take this trail. Goes back over toward camp, so I'll won't be too far from camp. I'm going to get up earlier tomorrow morning and hike some of these trails. The rock we're climbing is right over here, and my trailer sits over here. Give you a panoramic view. Give you an idea of size. The mountains over here are probably 20, 25 miles away. of these boulders are as big as a small house. This one right here is absolutely immense. It's probably 20 by 20 feet. Jackrabbit. It's kind of hard to find him in the lens now. Oh, here he is. Right there. He has 2 ears sticking up. I might get him to run, but he won't do it. Oh, there it goes. Stop again. There. Well, I got my first jackrabbit, live one, on film. He's still sitting there. Oh, there it goes. Here's a Joshua tree that fell over. Doesn't have much of a root system unless those rootlets go down awfully deep. There's that big. Well, I was just thinking, Josh, if you're watching this tape, you just probably realized that there's a tree named after you. The Josh tree. There's a lot of them out here. There's my trailer sitting right there. Oh, I got up to 52 today. Of course, out in the sun, it's a lot warmer. Bought some stuff for celebrating New Year's the other night. It's Captain Morgan's original spiced rum. Tastes good right out of the bottle. Snake bite. Bit by a snake today. Those people rock climbing today were nice folks. I'll probably make out a video for that one guy, and maybe $1 a minute. 20 minutes. Pretty potent stuff. 70 proof. I think tomorrow I'll do some hiking out in these mountains over here. See if I can get some sheep on camera. I guess on the black market, you've got guys who'll go out and shoot desert ram. They'll have the head mounted if it's a big ram, and they sell them for $4,000 and $5,000. It's ridiculous. Some guys have no scruples, morality. Buy something like that and didn't even shoot it, let alone on the black market. Got up to 75 in the trailer today, and that sun hits it. Sunny all day, hardly any wind. I think I'll shoot the sunset. Now there's a guy and his girlfriend over there. I keep looking to make sure they aren't doing anything immoral. Coyote. Coyote. Jeff might have heard they'll practically come up and eat out of your hand. Since there's no hunting here, they aren't afraid at all. I got one in about 8 feet. It's almost like being back in Africa. Animals just don't have a lot of fear of people here. I think he's in here. Right now I'm trying to find that coyote. There is a coyote. Well, this is January 3rd. It's 30 degrees this morning. Looks a bit rainy. I might stick pretty close to camp. Unless it blows over, then I'll take a long hike. Now, yesterday the wind was from the north, and looks like it's clear up there. We get another wind out of the north, it just might clear up. If it does, then I'll hike up into these mountains up here. There's supposed to be desert bighorns up in that area. The only thing I miss here is using my metal detector. This is designated wilderness area, so you can't remove any material of any kind. And I'd hate to have that metal detector confiscated. It wouldn't be worth it. There has been gold discoveries up in these hills up here in the past. There's a few mines. Well, we're getting a few sprinkles. I put my awning out to catch some of that water for cleaning, taking baths. It's a good water catcher. The air smells fresh and clean right now. It's almost like spring in Michigan. Feel sorry for these folks here in tents. There's quite a few of them. It just might clear off. The clouds are coming out of the east over here, and it's clearing off over in the east. Rain's coming down pretty good over here in the north. Well, I'm milking the clouds. It's a good way to get water if the only alternative is driving 20 miles into town. This is the Rock of Famous Noses. Like Mount Rushmore. Oh, this rock here reminds me of the drill instructor I had in the Army. Cave right here. Got one of the biggest pack rat nests. It's probably the nest of a 200-pound pack rat. They don't have all of the man-made material like they had back there in Robber's Roost. Bottom of an old bottle, beer bottle. See any shell casings? This is it's a perfect little cave. You could get 3 or 4 people in here easily. Goes quite a way back in here. What a rock garden. This is called a cat claw or wait a minute bush. See what I call it, cat claw. Well, I'll tell you, it hooks into your clothes and you if you try and pull free, you rip your clothes and your skin. The whole stem is like this. Well, I was just out doing some filming, and when I came back, I walked by this tent, and I could hear a girl's voice. She was saying, "Oh, faster." And I heard a guy's voice, same thing. "Oh, he must have been religious, because several times he said, 'Oh God,' and I had the urge to say, 'Excuse me, but would you like a video made of the special event?'" Of course, being of high moral standard and my religious upbringing, I didn't have the balls to say it. He probably had a 45 under his pillow anyway. He would have blown me away. But it was so loud. I mean, there's my camp here, another camp over here, and the guy and girls camp is over here, and you could hear probably for 100 feet. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that heard it. Good looking girl too. I wouldn't mind being in his shoes. One of these typical California surfing beauties. Well, I think tomorrow I'm going to move the camp probably down closer to the outer center of the park. So it would be just off Interstate 10, which goes into Quartzsite. Quartzsite is where I'm heading. And be down at the southern campground they've got in the monument here. We stay a day or two there and then head for Quartzsite. Supposed to meet two groups of people that were up at the campground there on the Klamath River last summer. Don and Bobby, the ones who had the dredge, and Van and Ann Van Hook from Chula Vista, California. They're the ones that had the big motor coach, 150 thou. They were also helping run the dredge. Nice people. Guy's got some bucks. He owns a car repair transmission shop in Chula Vista. Well, I think I'll save my battery because it's getting kind of low. But anyway, I wrote that little episode down in my notebook here. And after I stopped listening, started walking back to my trailer, the guy says, in the tent, he said, "God, do you think anybody heard us?" And I felt like saying, yes. But like I said, my high moral fiber and my... Well, this is the morning of January 4th, and it's kind of a yucca day out there. Little pun, yucca. Get it? It's supposed to snow up here tonight, 3,400 feet. So I'm going to move my camp down here. It's about 1,500 feet. Like I said before, I'm going to spend the rest of my life avoiding having to drive in snow. Well, I've dropped down about 1,000 feet, and now I'm in what's called the Colorado Desert. Just left the Mojave. Colorado Desert runs down into the California Peninsula, Baja. These are Chula cactus. You notice the Joshua trees have disappeared. They won't grow down this low. The Colorado Desert is quite a bit drier than the Mojave. I've only driven about 3 miles, about 1,000-foot drop. Another week or two, these will have flowers on the ends. These bushes are called Ocotillo. They aren't a cactus, they're in the shrub family. Now in the late winter, the entire thing is covered with small leaves and blood red flowers. Flowers just completely cover the stems. This one's about, I'd say 12 feet tall. It's the largest, or tallest one I have seen so far. This is called the Pinto Basin, and the Pinto Mountains are over here. Site of early man. There used to be a big lake down here one time, thousands of years ago. There's all kinds of early man sites all around the lake. It's still raining. This is known as a cotton-top cactus. It's about 1 foot high, 1.5 feet wide. This is a teddy bear cactus. It's about 2 feet high. This is a pencil cactus. This is about 2 feet high. Buckthorn chula cactus. And this is prickly pear cactus. Called spiny menador. And this is Mojave yucca. This is called black brush. This is an indigo bush. This is called a purple bush, starting to leaf out. Okay, desert cinna. is a Mormon tea bush. This is called the Cottonwood Visitor Center. Still in the Joshua Tree National. It's amazing seeing these big palms here in the middle of all this vast dryness. Called the Cottonwood Spring Oasis. These trees are must be about 40 feet high. Why are they big? The bases are about 3 feet across. Almost like a natural cathedral in here. Here's the spring water. Well, this is it's almost like being inside a big greenhouse. You can hear the raindrops hit the leaves way up top. These leaves are about 3 by 3 feet. Trees have thick manes. Now this right here is about 5 feet across. Make a good Hollywood shooting. This is almost like a roof up here. It's marvelous. I like it. Shoot Lawrence of Arabia in here. I was going to set the camera down and give you an idea of the size of this area here. Just take my word for it. It's massive. These trees are huge. I'll set the camera down over here and get a shot. Over here it's just a bit too wet.
I can turn the camera off, Abdullah. You dummy, you still don't know how to use that thing? The white man's burden.
You'll have to excuse the raindrops in the lens. They've got a huge stand of palms back in here about 3.5 miles, And if we get some sunny weather, I'll walk back and film. Some of the biggest palms I've seen. They must be several hundred years old. They're probably a remnant of what grew here 10,000 years ago. There were probably thousands of acres of these palms. This is a wetter area at one time, during the time early man was here. Ah, jackrabbit. Well, off in the distance you can see the little San Bernardino Mountains. Of course, if you've seen one mountain, you've seen them all. This is the Pinto Basin down below. This is all Joshua Tree National Monument. And these mountains to the north are the Pinto Mountains. This is part of what they call the Colorado Desert. And these are the Eagle Mountains over here. And down below is my truck. There's supposed to be a place up here where the 49ers worked placer gold, but I haven't seen any piles of gravel that they might have gone through. Usually you can tell where they've been because they dig holes and pile gravel. I'm also looking for some bighorn desert rams, but I haven't seen them yet. They're supposed to be in this area. I came back in on this, well actually I started over here. Highways out here, I came around up through here, about 5 miles back in. The road is pretty good up to where I've stopped. Then you come up here and there's a deep wash. I don't think I'm going to go down in there. It's the way it's been raining, it's probably washed out. And then the road extends on up. I have a feeling the place they work is back over here someplace. Too far to take a trailer. If I can't camp on the spot, then I usually don't bother. So I hate leaving that trailer sitting out all by itself. Take a chance of having it ripped apart. Well, it's 3 o'clock. It's it gets dark in about an hour, so I go start back. A lot of country here, but you can't do too much with it. Well, they have a lot of wild smoke trees growing out here. Got these huge piles of rocks that look like a giant just set the piles here and there. Actually, it's disintegrating granite humps breaking up. This is the Cottonwood section of the park. And my trailer is right there. Well, I've got trailer all set up. This campground is $5 entry and $6 a night. Of course, you get running water, electricity, a place to dump your tank. I charge my batteries up in the John there. That's the electricity. But for the life of me, all the work they did here, not one of these places to park your trailer are level. And if you're gonna run your LP tank, it has to be level, or I should say your LP refrigerator, because you'll end up ruining it if it isn't. But you would think before they put the blacktop down, all of these sites would have been level for RVs and trailers, and pickup campers with LP stoves. Refrigerators. Something else I can't really see here. Put this kind of stuff in, because if you put your awning out, your lawn chairs, you just trip over all this garbage. This fellow over here from Idaho, retired couple, his wife is trying to help him back this thing up, and it's just not working. They've been messing around for about 10 minutes now. He's beginning to lose his temper. There's my trailer. During the busy season, I'm not sure when it is, but they have movies here. This thing slides open. They have people sitting here and have wildlife movies. And then back over here, feels good having electricity. I can just run this battery right down to nothing. Doesn't bother me a bit. Over here they have, they'll have loads of school buses and big tour groups come in, and then they have seminars down here underneath these roof sections, field trips and things like that for high school kids, grade school, college. I'm going to have to get that lens that will prevent the washout on the edge of the viewing area. I'll show you what a washout looks like. Right, that's the washout right there. Now if I had this lens that goes over the top of this thing, I could have the camera pointed down like this, and the clouds would show up. But since I don't, I get a washout when I lower the lens, which is really unfortunate because you're losing a lot of nice color when you have to lower that lens. Makes for better pictures. So if you ever get one, make sure you get the lens that prevents this washout. Over here, they have the facilities for the families who work in the Joshua Tree National Monument on the southern end. Now on the northern end, they have a group of homes like this that the employees live in. I tell you, that's a pretty darn good deal. They furnish the home and vehicle. They drive four-wheel drive, almost looks like a Scout. They're white with federal emblems on the side. And then on top they have red and blue police lighting systems with bullhorn. Because this road that runs through from US Interstate 10 down here, runs through about 35 miles through the monument and up 29 Palms Marine Base. And those young guys, those Marines, when they get in their car, they try to see if they can cut time off the old record. And they come flying down through here, straightaways, 100 miles an hour. And no place on the road can you go over 35. It's a good road though, but it's gets a lot of tourist traffic on it. You get some jughead with his souped up car cruising down there with probably a couple beers under his belt. Bad combination. Yeah, they probably have their projector sitting on top here. And they open up these big doors. The vegetation down here is starting to leaf out since it is warmer. There's tiny little red leaves on this plant here. But another 2 weeks, they will have what they call their winter spring down here. This fellow over here and his wife, he's a college professor, a real nice guy. I talked to him earlier. They're from Los Angeles, which is not that far. Those people are still trying to back up that motor home over here, and I might be mistaken, but I think I just heard the guy call his wife a dumb cunt. Oh well, so much for vacations. Boy, if they go through that every time they back that thing up. Ooh. Just hope they don't have a pistol on the motorhome. I'm able to hear a couple shots ring out tonight. Well, I'm going to put some dinner on, do a little reading. I kept having a leak in the back here every time it rained. So I took some caulk and I caulked that top seam up there. I'm going to have to trim it off a little bit and get that excess off. But, boy, that stopped the leak right now. Of course, you figure this this trailer is a 1971. It's just about 20 years old. Good shape though. I put brand new tires on her. Got those extra wide tires. 6-ply. Got them up at a place in Ionia where Gordy takes his car. And had all that work done on the truck. I put almost $1,000 in that truck on trailer accessories, towing package, things like that. Overhauled brakes, all new tires. So far, no problem, except for the radiator hose, and that was minor. Yeah, I went to pay the fee and the overnight fee there, but the place was closed at 11 o'clock when I came in here, and there's no pay envelopes. I'm not the type that skips out on paying, but if they don't want the money, I'll just keep it. These yucca seed pods are beginning to turn rotten. I think the new blossom should be coming on next month. It's amazing, you know, these things grow wild in Michigan. People plant them around their houses. And we're so far north there in Michigan. This thing almost, you know, looks tropical. This one's about 4 feet tall here. It's even as high as 6 and 8 foot. Indians used to make thread out of these. Used to weave them all together, make baskets. And they used to use the spikes. Well, this is January 6th. I'm heading out of the Joshua Tree National Monument and heading toward the Oricopia Mountains. On the other side of that is the Salton Sea. That's all downhill. I just pop her into second and you coast down at 40 miles an hour. Never have to touch the brake. If there's one thing I've learned on this trip It's the fact that the truck does have a first and a second gear you can shift into. Because if you don't, you're riding your brakes all the way down, and wears them out in a hurry. So it's very important with that travel trailer to shift down. Well, I'm heading for Quartzsite now. I might drive by the Salton Sea, I'm not sure. All right, now it's 7 in the morning. Last night was 30. Had frost on the windshield. It's like being at home. Back in Hiawatha country. I wish I had one of those Willie Nelson tapes on the road again, and I could set the shot up and then play the tape to have it go along with the shot, which would be kind of cute. If you find the tape, why don't you send it to me? My birthday, yeah, that's coming up, February 22nd. Big 4 Uno. Well, from here, I've dropped down just about 1,000 feet. I'm still in the park, but you can see the difference in the vegetation. You've got small trees, bigger bushes, more grass. I'll tell you, out here in the southwest, elevation makes all the difference on your plant life, your abundance or lack of. Well, Interstate 10 is down here in the middle of the valley, and I'll take that up, and that goes off the east into Quartzsite. Off to the west, you can see the Sierra Nevada mountains, and there's quite a bit of snow, and it can stay there. Got some snow over here too. Well, I just pulled into Quartzsite, Arizona. Looks like they had a little rain. Now, the last time I was here, this place was almost empty, but now they've got about 60,000 people here for the gold and rock and mineral show. They've got a flea market too here that it's one of the biggest in the world. This town jumps from about 3,000 to 60,000 this time of year. All through the desert, there's hundreds of motorhomes, trailers. Quartzsite, Arizona. Well, I just started setting up camp. 4 o'clock in the evening right now. Shadow here. That camp I had last year, or last May, there's quartzite down there. The camp I had last year, I was closer to the expressway over here. You can remember in the video, set up about 200 yards off the expressway. Well, this year I'm setting back away from it to kind of cut down all that traffic noise at night, sleep a little better. We'll check out the Chocolate Mountains back here this year. Last year I checked out pretty much closer to the highway. Plus I've got some vegetation over here, got some greenery. I'll check in this wash here too, metal detector. Now there's smoke trees and this thing right here. Not sure what that is. There's a lot of smoke trees up through here. Looks like they get quite a bit of water down this wash. That's why I set it nice and high here. If it gets up this high, I'm in deep shit. Well, starting January 20th, down here in Quartzsite, they started having the flea market. It's one of the biggest in North America. Actually, it's a flea market, gold show, rock specimens, things like that. Plus, it's the largest fly-in flea market in the world. They have people flying in from all over the country. Kind of tie the flea market and the fly-in together. Now I'm supposed to meet Don and Bobby Fales. They were up on the Klamath with me. And Van and his wife, Ann, Van Hook, they were up on the Klamath. Now, Van Hook is the one with the big motor coach. And he had the wetsuit on. Don had the wetsuit on too, working the dredge. Well, when they get down here, I'm supposed to look them up, and there's going to be about 30 or 40,000 trailers, RVs, and coaches. The motor coach will be easy to find because not very many people have them. But the Don's trailer, his truck is unique. It's a $20,000 plus truck, so that's not going to be too hard to find. But the trailer's pretty much like any other 28-footer. It's newer. It's kind of a light beige color. But I've got enough water and food, filled up with propane. Now the propane was cheaper today than I've ever bought, 70 cents a gallon. And usually I pay $1.25. Gasoline was 89. Filled up on gas, propane, groceries, water. So I'll stay here a month and just go over this area and have fun. This wash looks pretty good. There's a lot of bedrock down here, so I'm going to check that out. It's got possibilities. Of course, every place has possibilities. Well, people are just beginning to fill up the countryside. On the other side of the expressway, there's hundreds and hundreds of trailers parked out on the BLM government land. That's what I'm on. The trailer parks down here, there's half a dozen big ones. They're all full. Some of them hold up to 200 or 300 trailers. The countryside out here, clear to the mountains, that's just peppered with trailers. Like I say, you've got a town normally, oh geez, less than 1,000, maybe 1,500 people. And by the end of this month, there's going to be 60,000 people out here. Camped all over the flatlands. The flea market sellers are setting up right now. There's probably several hundred right now. And when they're all set up, there should be 400 or 500 dealers. Got my saguaro cactus back. Kind of missed those buggers. Didn't see any up there in California. Should be a nice sunset I'm going to videotape. Oh, this is January 5th. I said the 6th this morning. And this morning I sent off 4 videos and shells and some other things. And I sent that off from Desert Center, California. You should be getting that within 4 or 5 days. Of course, when you get this, it'll be probably the end of this month. So what I'm telling you right now is not really very relevant. The sun's gonna skip behind the mountain in just a minute, so I'll get some video of the sunset. Right now, well, not much of a sunset. What we need are more clouds. Right now it's about 4:47 in the evening. It's kind of nice being able to wear my safari shirts again. Got up to high 60s today. So, sorry I mentioned those warm temperatures. I know what you're going through up there. But it is nice out here. Sunny, warm, no snow.